We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Amar Aleph Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 100a. Rava here is in the middle of setting up the question. He said that it's obvious that water on top of water, mayim al gabe mayim, is considered a hanocha, and egos al gabe mayim, if a person has a nut that's floating on water, lav hainu hanachos, and that's not a hanocha. Rashi explains, lav hainu hanachos, and vim notzlo misham lav akiri. If you take the egos from the water, it's not at rest to begin with, so it's not called an akira in terms of the isser of hotzah. So boy Rava asks, egos bekli uklitsaf agave mayim ma. What would happen if you have an egos in a kli and the kli is floating on the water? What's the halacha? Mi amrin and basar egos azlinan. Do we follow the egos v'hanayich and it's at rest in the kli? O dilmor, maybe basar kli azlin, we follow the kli v'halonayich, so it's not considered at rest. And the Gemara says teku. We will leave that as a question. And the Gemara continues, Shemen al gabe yain. What if you had a case of oil that's floating on top of wine? Machlokas Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri v'Rabbanan. That's going to be a machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri and the Rabbanan. Rashi here explains, Shemen al gabe yain le'inyan Shabbos. We're talking about Hilchas Shabbos again. Machlokas Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri v'Rabbanan. That's going to be a machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri and the Rabbanan, whether that's considered to be at rest. The Tanan, because we learned in a Mishnah, Shemen shetzaf al gabe yayin. If you have Shemen that's floating on yayin, on water, v'naga tvul yom b'Shemen, and a tvul yom whose tameh touches the Shemen, lo pasal ela Shemen, only the Shemen is going to be pasal. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri Omer, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says, Shneim chibor zel lazeh, they're both considered attached to one another. Rashi here explains, the Tanan Shemen shel truma, the case here is Shemen of truma, shetzaf al gabe yayin, it's floating on wine, shel truma, which is also truma, mishum hachi nakat tvul yom. The reason why we're choosing here a case of a tvul yom, mishum the posel ve'eno mitame, because when a tvul yom touches truma, he makes it pasel, but he doesn't make the item that he's touching tameh enough that it could be mitame something else. Hilkach lo pasel elo shemen bilvad. That's why the shemen becomes tameh, or pasel really, but it can't make the wine tameh. The lav chibur hu l'mahavi kechad, because it's not considered attached. It's not all like one. Ve'ilo have a tameh, have a mitame l'shemen v'shemen pasel l'yayin. Now if that's why we're choosing a tvul yom, because if it was somebody who was really tameh, fully tameh, that person would be metame the shemen, and the shemen could then pasel the wine. We want to choose a tvul yom who only pasels truma, but is not metame truma. So in any case, the point is the tvul yom is touching the shemen, and of course the shemen is touching the wine. So according to the Rabbanan, those are two separate items. Only the shemen becomes pasel, and the shemen, because it's only pasel, it hasn't been nitma. It doesn't have the ability to make something else tameh. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says no, it's all attached to one another. It's all considered one thing. So therefore, they both become pasel. And that machlokas that applies over there is going to be true by Shabbos. Also, Rashi explains, Shneim chibur dehavik echad v'nifsal afayayin. It's like one item. The shemen and the wine are one, and even the wine becomes pasel. U'le'inyan Shabbos nami l'Rabbanan havalei ke'egos al gabe mayim. So according for Hilchas Shabbos, according to the Rabbanan, it's going to be like a nut floating on water. Rabbi Yochanan havalei ke'mayim al gabe mayim. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, the shemen on the wine is similar to water on water. It's totally attached. So it's going to be considered at rest. According to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, it's considered munach, and according to the Rabbanan, it's not considered munach. And again, the idea here is a tvul yom is considered a sheni, and truma can become a shlishi, but truma, once it becomes a shlishi, it can't make other truma tameh. That's the idea, that it's pasel, but it's not mitame. It can't make it tameh so that it can make other truma become tameh. That's essentially the machlokas when it comes to truma, and that's how we connect it to the issue of Hilchas Shabbos. The Gemara now continues with a statement from Abaya. Omar Abaya says, Bor b'Rosh Hashanah amuka asara v'roch v'shmona. Let's say you have a bor in Rosh Hashanah, it's 10 deep and it's 8 wide. V'zorak l'socha machzelas, and he throws into there some kind of mat. Chayev, he's chayev because he's throwing it into an area from Rosh Hashanah into Rosh Hashanah. Chilka b'machzelas, but if that mat divides the bor, potter, then in that case is going to be potter. Rashi here explains, V'zorak l'socha machzelas mishum seifa nakat lei. The reason why we're choosing this case is because of the seifa. It's obvious if you throw into a pit, you're going to be chayev for otzah. The boy, or in this case achnasa, the boy lememar chilka b'machzelas potter. The point here is that if you divide it with a machzelas, you're potter. What's the chiddush? Lashmina, it teaches us that anachas chayfetz v'siluk mechitza b'hadadi potter. Here you're placing the chayfetz in there, but at the moment you're putting the machzelas in there, the mat in there, the mechitza is also disappearing. You're never going to have an area 4x4 because the machzelas takes up some space and it's landing right in the middle. You're losing the thickness of the machzelas. That's the idea. If it splits the bore, you no longer have a rishus hayachid. That's why you're potter. The Gemara now says, La Abaye, according to Abaye, who just said this, La Abaye, according to Abaye, the Pshita le de machzelas mevatel mechitza, who it's obvious to him that a mat can be mevatel mechitza, can turn this from a Rishus HaYachid into less than a Rishus HaYachid, into basically a Makam Tor. Kol shekein chulya de mevatel mechitza. Certainly chulya, if you take dirt and you throw it into a pit and you fill the pit, that's for sure mevatel, the size of the Rishus HaYachid, because the chulya, the dirt of the pit, is actually really the same material, so to speak, that makes the borders of the pit. Now, according to Rabbi Yochanan, he wasn't sure whether chulya is mevatel, so machzelos pshita de lo mevatel mechitzasa. It would be obvious, that was Rabbi Yochanan on the previous Amud. For him, obviously, machzelos would not be mevatel anything, even if the machzelos would split the board, it wouldn't split anything. It would just be considered dropping an item into a pit. It would not be considered to be shrinking the dimensions of that pit. B'yamar Abaye, and Abaye says, Bor b'Rishus Harabim, again you have a bor in Rishus Harabim, Amuka Asara v'Rachva Arba, in this case it's 10 deep and exactly 4 by 4 wide, it's exactly the size of Rishus HaYachid, Maleya Mayim, and it's filled with water, V'Zarak L'soch, and you throw something in there, Chayiv, in such a case you are Chayiv. Rashi here says, V'Zarak L'socha me Rishus Harabim midi denaicha, you're throwing into the water something that comes to rest, could go an Even or Mayim, either a stone, it's going to sink to the bottom, or you're throwing other water in, which we said that's considered hanacha. Chayiv, in that case, you're chayiv. V'lo amin kevan de molehu. You don't say since it's filled with water, lo have a rishus hayachid, that it's not a rishus hayachid, mevatel l'mechitzas, that the water is mevatel l'mechitzas. Abaye says that's for sure. The water is not mevatel l'mechitzas. Now, meleya peiros, if it's filled with fruit, v'zark l'soch, and you throw something in there, in that case you're potter. In such a case you're potter. Rashi says, meleya peiros potter de batel mechitzas ki'ilo melua afer. Fruit is the same thing as if it would be filled with dirt. The bore, the dimensions of the bore are batel in such a case. So my time, what's the reason? Mayim lo mevali mechitzasa. Mayim is not mevatel mechitza. Peiros mevali mechitzasa. Peiros are mevatel mechitza. Tanya nami hachi. We have a brayso like this as well. Hazorik min hayam le isratia. If somebody throws from the sea to the isratia is basically a Rishus Harabim. Uminho isratia leyam, or he throws from the Rishus Harabim to the yam. Again, the yam's a carmelist, so he's throwing from a Rishus Midrabanan into a Rishus Harabim, or vice versa. In such a case, he's potter. Obviously, he's potter because it's not Rishus Harabim to Rishus Hayachid, it's Rishus Harabim to carmelist. Rav Shimon says, Yesh b'makom shezorak amok asara v'rachav arba chayiv. If in the area where he threw, you have an area that's 10 deep and 4 wide, then you would be chayiv. Rashi here explains. Rabbi Shimon Omer Yesh b'yam, we're talking about in the sea, b'makom shezorak, in the area where he threw in the sea, kuma miyuchedes levada, there's a kind of like a cavity in there that's distinct. Amuka asara v'rach v'dalet, and it's 10 deep and it's 4 wide, meaning you basically have an independent pit in the middle of this yam. Rishus hayachid la'atzmi, that's considered its own Rishus hayachid. V'lo havi kashar yam, it's not considered a carmelist like the rest of the yam. Afal gav the yam nami amaku, even though obviously a yam is very deep. That's the Tanya Nami Hachi here. You see from Rabbi Shimon's statement that water is not mevatel mechitza because the yam has water, and yet in the yam you can have it's possible to have a bore that's considered a Rishus Hayachid. That's exactly what we said before, that mayim is lo mevatel mechitzasa. We continue now with the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Hazorek arba amos bekosel. We've mentioned this Mishnah before. If somebody throws 4 amos against a wall, lamala me'asar tfachim, if it's above 10 tfachim from the ground, kizorek ba'aver, then it's like throwing in the air. It's not considered a Rishus Harabim above 10 tfachim from the ground. Lamata me'asar tfachim, but if it's below 10 tfachim, kizorek ba'aretz, then it's like he's throwing on the ground. And hazorek ba'aretz arba amos chayiv. Somebody who throws on the ground 4 amos in Rishus Harabim is chayiv. So the Gemara asks, v'halo nach, but it never came to rest. You're throwing it against the wall. Where's the hanacha? Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, b'dveila shmeina shanina. We're talking about a circle of pressed figs. They're fat and they stick against the wall. So that's a hanacha when they stick on the wall. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rav, Amar Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rav, in the name of Rav Chia, zarak lamala me'asara. Let's say he throws above 10, v'holcha v'nacha b'chor kolshu, and it lands in a chor. It lands in a hole that's in the wall. Banu l'machlokes Rabbi Meir v'Rabbanan. That's going to be the same machlokes that we have between Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan. Rabbi Meir damar chokakin lahashlim. According to Rabbi Meir, we have a principle of chokakin lahashlim, that halachically we can carve out a space to complete the area. Mechayiv. So you're going to be chayiv because it's going to be considered a Rishus Hayachid. It's like you throw into Rishus Hayachid. The Rabbanan da'amri ein chokakin lahashlim lo mechayiv. According to the Rabbanan, who do not hold of the concept of chokakin lahashlim, you will not be chayiv. Rashi here explains. Rabbi Meir v'Rabbanan di'ifligu b'chokakim lahashlam b'pera kama diyuma uve'erevin. This is a machlokas that's found in the first parak of Yuma and Erevin. Rabbi Meir da'amar chokin lahashlam b'makom sheyesh kedei lachok hacha chayev deroin hachor ke'ilu harba. According to Rabbi Meir, we apply a principle that if there was enough space in theory to carve out an area of 4 by 4 tvachim, we say halachically it's as if there is an area in that little hole that's 4 by 4 tvachim, and we consider it a rishus hayachid, and that's why according to Rabbi Meir, you're going to be chayiv. According to the Rabbanon, you will not be chayiv. Tanya nami hachi, we have brisa that says the same thing. Zorak lamala me'asar, if a person throws above 10 tvachim from the ground, v'holcha v'nacha b'chor kolshu, and it lands in a hole that's in a wall, Rabbi Meir mechayiv, the chachamim poach, and again Rabbi Meir says chayiv because he applies the principle of chokin lahashlam. We carve out the area halachically as though it was 4 by 4 tvachim, and the chachamim say we do not say chokin lahashlam. And this machlokas of chokin lahashlam really is not talking about hilchas Shabbos over there. It's talking about hilchas mezuzah. There's a halacha also there. You need a makam of 4 by 4 tvachim in the area where you're going to be putting up the mezuzah, and they have this machlokas in that context. And now we're bringing that machlokas and applying it over here. The Gemara continues. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Rav, Tel hamislaket asar mitoch arba. If you have a mound that rises 10 tvachim high within 4 amos, v'zorak v'nach al gabav, and he throws on top of that mound, chayiv. In such a case, he is chayiv. Rashi here explains, Tel hamislaket shumadron v'holech u'mislaket mat ma'adat shemagbiya yud mitoch dalad amos. Within dalad amos, it's already risen 10 tvachim high. Harehu ki'ilu zokov kulo. It's as if it goes straight up. V'havei rishus hayachid. It has the status of a rishus hayachid b'makom govo at the top. V'im zark me rishus haram v'nach al gabav chayiv. If he throws from rishus haram on top of it, he is chayiv. V'davka nakam mitoch dalad amos. It has to rise that sharply within 4 amos. Because if it's within 5 amos, hareu kashar rishus harabim denicha tashmishtei lehiloch. Then it's just part of the rishus harabim because it's easy to walk through. The idea is it has to rise enough that it makes it difficult for a person to walk the normal way he would walk through rishus harabim, and in such a case it can have the status of rishus hayachid. Tanya nami hach, we have brisa like this as well. Mavoi sheshavel lesocho v'nasem madron rishus harabim. Let's say a mavoi is kind of above the rishus harabim and it slants downward to get to the rishus harabim. O shavel rishus harabim v'nasem madron lesocho. Or it's when you enter it, you're even with rishus harabim, and then it slants downward into the mavoi. So mavoi enot tzarech lo lechi v'lo kora. So that mavoi, normally a mavoi, in order to carry to make an eruv, you need to put either a lechi, which is a pole at the entrance of the mavoi along the side, or a kora, which is a beam that runs along the top when you enter the mavoi. You don't need that in this case. Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel Omer, Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel says, Teil hamislaket asar mitoch arba v'zarek v'nach al gabav chayiv. Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel says this exact halacha, that if you have a mound that rises 10 tvachim high within 4 amos and you throw on top of it, you are chayiv, and that is the Tanya nami hachi. That's the brisa that says the same halacha that Rav just said. Rashi here explains the case of the mavoi. V'nasem madron l'rishus harabim sheyakarka hamavoi gavoa mikarka rishus harabim. The first case is the mavoi is above rishus harabim. V'otzrich l'shapeya etzel piskul etzad rishus harabim, and you need to kind of slant downward to get to the rishus harabim. O sheyashavel rishus harabim, or it was equal to rishus harabim. V'nasem madron l'socha shehaya rishus harabim gavoa mikarka mavoi, meaning the rishus harabim was above the mavoi, and you need to slant downward into the mavoi. Uchnisas hamavoi nami min hapesach v'lefnim gavoa kekarka rishus harabim b'rochav amo chatzi amo, for like an amo or half an amo. It's the same when you enter. And then it kind of starts slanting down. Also, you don't need a lechi. Because the slant itself becomes like the separation between the mavoi and the outside and the rishus harabim. Even though it's slanted, it's still considered to be enough of a mechitza. That's the same idea that we're saying here with the telam eslaket. If something is sharp enough, at a sharp enough angle, it goes up or down, then it's considered disconnected from the rishus harabim. The Gemara continues with the Mishnah. Zarak l'soch dalid amos v'niskalgel chutz l'dalid amos potter. Let's say somebody throws within 4 amos, and it lands within 4 amos of where he threw from, but then it rolls outside and it goes further than dalid amos. In such a case, he's potter. But chutz l'dalid amos, if he throws farther than dalid amos, he throws outside of dalid amos, v'niskalgel l'soch dalid amos, but then it rolls backwards within dalid amos. In such a case, he's chayev. So it comes out, according to the Mishnah, it goes by where it lands initially. The fact that it rolls one way or the other is not relevant when reading the Mishnah. So the Gemara says, V'halo nach, what are you talking about? It didn't come to rest. Who cares if it landed outside of 4 amos? It never rested there, rolled back in. You shouldn't be chayev. Rashi says, V'halo nach, chutz l'dalet. It never rested outside of the dalet amos. V'amayaz lina basra. Why would we go by where it initially lands? We should go by where it comes to rest. So the Gemara answers, Amar Rav Yochanan, and Rav Yochanan says, V'hu shenach agavi mashu. a major qualification in the Mishnah. It has to come to rest at least at some point for a little bit of time outside Daled Amos in order to be considered chayiv in that case. Rashi says, Shenocha gami mashu she'amad k'tzas. It has to stand for a short period of time. V'achar kach nisgalgel, and then it rolls back. Rashi says the same would be true if the wind holds it up. It holds it for a short period of time. And then it goes into within the Daled Amos. If that happens within 3 tvachim from the ground, even though it happened in the air, but we've said numerous times that within 3 tvachim from the ground is considered the ground. So if it kind of stops in midair and rests for a moment, even if it doesn't come to rest on a actual surface, that would be considered hanacha. He'd be chayiv if it's outside of Daled Amos. Tanya nami hachi, we have a brisa like this as well. Zarak chutz l'Daled Amos b'dachfaso haruach v'chnisaso v'afa pisha chazra v'otziaso pater. Right, if he throws outside of 4 amos and the wind brings it in, even if it then goes out again, he's going to be pater. But achazaso haruach mashu, if the wind holds it for a moment, afa pisha chazra v'chnisaso chayiv. Even though it goes back inside, you're going to be chayiv because again there was a hanacha. The same idea that Rabbi Yochanan said. Amar Rava says, Toch gimel l'Rabbanan, if it's within 3 tvachim, according to the Rabbanan, tzarech hanacha al gabi mashu. You need a hanacha, you need somewhat of a hanacha. Rashi here explains, the Rabbanan depligi oled Rabbi Akiva. We're going according to the Rabbanan who argue on Rabbi Akiva, bezorek min Rishas HaYachid or Rishas HaYachid, or Rishas HaRabim be'emtzi. You throw from one Rishas HaYachid to another Rishas HaYachid, with a Rishas HaRabim in the middle, the leslu kluta kamisha huncha. They don't hold, meaning the Rabbanan don't hold of Kluta Kamishon Chadami. They don't hold that if it kind of travels through the Rishas HaRabim and it's in the airspace, it's as if it came to rest. So they do not hold of Kluta. So Lo Tema Besoch Gimel Modu. Don't say that within 3 tvachim of the ground they admit to what Rabbi Akiva said. Elafilu Toch Gimel, even within 3 tvachim of the ground, Nami Tzarech Sheyanuach, it has to come at some kind of rest. V'yamavar Rishas HaRabim Kula Pater. If it travels through the entire Rishas HaRabim without coming to rest at all, even in that case, the Rabbanan would say you're Pater. This would make a difference also in our case. You throw 4 amos, and when it's coming to rest and it gets within 3 tvachim of the ground, nizkar shigagasu, he remembers his shogeg, he remembers his mistake. Ad shalonach pater. So if he remembers before it comes to rest, he's pater. The beginning and the end need to be b'shogeg. We don't say that, it came to rest because it was within 3 tvachim from the ground. According to the Rabbanan, within 3 tvachim from the ground is not automatically considered at rest. You need to have a hanocha al gabi mashu. Yosef Mereimar v'kamar lo lahashmaita. So Mereimar was sitting and saying over this idea. Amar le Ravina le Mereimar. So Ravina said to Mereimar, and we'll continue with Ravina's statement in the next video on Daf Kuf Amud Beis.